Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy, longtime comic book industry veteran and lifelong fanboy since age 7. So, Nova, man, that came out at right upon graduation time from, I can't remember what grade I was in at the time, because this is October, but they were always 3 months ahead, and it was originally a gimmick to fool the newsstand people. They're thinking, oh, well, the October issue just came out, and that must mean it's newer than the other ones. But then everybody had an October date the same, and they kept it forever. It was so weird. And so I knew when I saw November, I knew it was August, and I knew school was around the corner. Back then we had the whole summer off, which was really awesome, but I can see why they break it up now. It's like, it's, I'll just keep saying, till I pass out. That costume in Nova is just friggin' amazing. It was designed by Marv Wolfman, who he ended up using him for his own title. I think Romita Sr. may have tweaked it, but maybe not. But here's the thing. With Nova, like other characters, they've contributed greatly to the Marvel Universe. And the thing is, they did it back then, and it was sort of like I don't want to say ignorance, that's not fair, but it was sort of like a hippy-dippy kind of, well, we're doing Marvel Comics, it's the greatest thing in the world, so let's create these other characters that interact with the classic characters. But the problem is, Marv Wolfman has no legal right to Nova. Now, I would think it could be reversed, but back then there were a lot of characters that they basically gave up, and Roy Thomas does an article about this. He talked about how so many of his characters were knockoffs of other characters, like Doc Samson was after Captain Tootsie, like Tootsie Pop, same kind of costume, and also Scarlet Scarab, who fought the Invaders, was supposed to be Blue Beetle. And he did a lot of that kind of stuff because Roy was very, very shy about contributing new characters. Anyway, second issue, pretty cool. Rich Rider he's a guy who barely graduates high school or barely gets through the next grade, which is the opposite of Peter Parker. Gets his powers from an alien who was dying and just sends it down to Rich Rider. And I think it's pretty random. And what's cool about it is, I should cover this sometime, but issue 15 of What If, the original series, has what if 4 other people became Nova. And it was just 4 little stories. One was Peter Parker, and another was a bad guy. It was just really, really enjoyable. So, I was like, wow, this is a second Power Pack issue. Written by Marv Wolfman, writer, editor. When you see that, that's basically, I'm going to write this, I'm going to meet my deadlines, but don't bother me. And, he and Len Wein and Roy Thomas and others were well read enough to, not screw up spelling or certain things. I mean, they could thread a story properly with a beginning, middle, and end. So, Nova busts up a hold up at a bank. This guy, the Condor. He's more like a dime store version of the Falcon. Well, there you go. A little flashback there. Let's get that helmet going. And you got Rich Rider, Nova. His younger brother is there, takes him down the steps. Mom's off for work, and Dad's a teacher, so they're both very educated parents. And the kids are sort of latchkey kids, but they're hardly kids anymore. They're both in their teens. There he is, the Condor. And he sees Powerhouse in regular civvies, as he used to call him, and knocks him off. Catches him. He goes, "Of course I'll save you, you fool." He goes, "You think I allow the time I invested in you to be dashed upon the rocks? Not when I need you to battle him, the dreaded one." And what's so funny is, this was a very comic book thing. Like, for 5 issues, the Sphinx is called the dreaded one. And then, when he shows up, all of a sudden, he's the Sphinx. But that's just a little comic book thing from the era. Look at all these Marvel treasuries. I had all of them except Wizard of Oz, but my wife, she got one really good shape that was cheap, and she knew I like treasury editions, so I was like, sure, I'll complete my collection. There's Powerhouse's costume. I love it. It's simple. I love the purple and the dark blue. So Rich Rider notices the Condor out and about, and he goes pursue him, knocks the food over this his bully, and I love this. Nova can't control his flight as well as he will later, and Condor's more like just stepping aside. And Condor's got no superpowers, but he's more agile. Here comes Powerhouse. And man of Shevitz. Great action, great action. Little brother causes a fire in the basement with one of his experiments. And really, really great stuff. A lot of fun. A rag bag of riotous repartee from our resplendently rarefied readership. They did that all the way to like X and Z. It was so funny. So this is a great idea. Nova throws a fire extinguisher at Powerhouse, who crushes it and knocks him out. I love that ending there. And then we go to Return of the New Gods. In 1975, there was an issue of first issue special where Jerry Conway brought back the New Gods with Don Newton. So they decided to do a regular book, and this is, I don't know if there was a lot of interest in reviving the New Gods, but over at Marvel, Kirby was getting ready to do the Eternals. It was originally called The Gods, something the Gods, and so DC just wanted to like say, hey, we could do better without you, which is silly. Very Kirby-esque, done by Al Milgrom. I tell you, like 99%. Look at that background. Wow. Don Newton, baby. He's one of those guys who he died very young, unfortunately, but he's a great artist, and he's sort of an artist. Just the way he does shadows and such. Jerry Conway, I'm really interested. I mean, I'm not that interested to look it up, but Jerry Conway, he sure hopscotched back and forth from Marvel and DC for a while, and back then that generally wasn't done. And kind of like Rich Buckler. The only thing I find interesting in this new update of the New Gods is apparently the anti-life equation resides in 7 mortals on Earth, and you get them all together, and something in their minds or whatever, it solves the problem of the anti-life equation that Darkseid wants. So really cool stuff. And how about that for a background? That's nuts. That's beautiful. It's like, again, with the drunken sod by the wharf saying, what happened to my ball? God, I hate that. Even then it was cliched. And there's Metron hanging out at some gal's apartment. She's 1/6 of the anti-life equation. I don't know why he hangs around so much, but I guess he's waiting for something to happen. I don't know. So, and the costume is interesting. I mean, I do like that it's a little more designed. Look at that. The Doom Patrol cover really grabbed me. I actually bought that off the stands. I wasn't even a DC fan at the time. A little weird here. Grabs a leg. He goes, "Hi, see how easily I misdirect you with words. Turning your attention aside, letting me do this. What, you twist aside, whirling in mid-fall? Impossible." I think that was Jerry Conway kind of... He could have said it better. Maybe he felt Don Newton's figure work there was awkward. And, man, this Swamp Thing saga has been reprinted 1,000,000 times in paper in the 70s over and over again. So Ryan goes on. He's having his madness, warrior rage, but his face doesn't get ugly. That's the weird thing, though. He doesn't get really, gruesome. You know, he doesn't look like Noel Gallagher, who was in a fist fight. So it was fun. You know what? I hate to admit it, but it's kind of fun. Although I don't think any of this is canon. I really don't. Because there have been extra characters that have never been referred to before. And one thing Jim Starlin did was he made the anti-equation an actual being. And that's kind of odd. I forgot how different that was in 1986 or something like that. So let's get on to Namor. This is actually the period where I quit buying it because it was a lot of nothing. Love that lettering. I'm guessing Emperor did this already. I did like the new Submariner. When it first came out, it's like they found a chemical imbalance in his head and he was treated for it. Now he wasn't such a he wasn't just a red hot character. And also to sell the book, it says Marvel's first and mightiest mutant, but it had to be covered with the search for Iron Fist. That logo is really great too. They have a omnibus of it. And I love the speech balloons are in bubbles like water. Coloring is great too. Whoop. But the only thing is, nothing really happens in this issue. They kind of. What happens is, Namor he uses all this treasure from way down in the ocean, and he uses it to enrich himself, and he creates a company that is that fights all kinds of pollution and such, and that's pretty cool. But a lot of times you get a lot of that and a lot of that's kind of cool. A lot of that, a lot of that. See where I'm going with this? So I quit. And I only bought this. I didn't even stay for when Iron Fist returned. Because it's a comic book, dude. Come on. Let's do something. Got some cool characters. Whoop. Here is Batman versus Judge Dredd. It's the second or third of the series. The first one was done by I think Alan Grant and Steve Bissett, his stuff was just crazy. And here we got Mike Mignola, and he's got those patented legs that look sort of like the characters dangling from something. Those little dangly legs, but love that cover. Really, really cool. And Alan Grant with John Wagner, Cam Keddy. Okay, this is an all Brit creation. There would be others later on that have Americans and Brits, but wow, lovely. There you go. You got your establishing shot of Judge Dredd. That bike and everything, even the costume is just hats off to anybody who draws that. He's got a friggin' gold eagle on his one shoulder. And you get Batman, and two of them really don't like each other, of course. But I'm totally digging the art. I like that on Batman's face. I love that. It's like he's just. It just tells you how fast he's moving, how urgent the images are, and they fight the ventriloquist, which is pretty average. How about that? That's a great pose too. Really cool stuff. I like him being over there, and Batman's on that side. They spend most of the time fighting each other. Man, that's a beauty. Yeah, that's a beauty. And I'm really digging it. So I'm not going to spoil any more. But damn good, damn good. So now we return to John Byrne and Generations. This was a pretty popular series for a while. They actually have a huge omnibus of this era, from early on to like they had different generations. This is 3 or 4, but there were other mini series that were 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 issues, and there's a little square round thing. Man, when I did my first Elseworlds and my name was on the spine, I got chills. I was like, that's so cool. Cool. So, 1979. And the thing with Generations is that I really enjoyed seeing it all collected. Is it literally is generations. Like you'll have Batman's son, you'll have Superman's daughter, and they just switch around and around. This is Raja Ghul. It's my favorite dinner. Raja Ghul. I hope my Raja Ghul with some gabagoo. So he uses the classic 70s version, late 70s version of Lex Luthor. And now, I love that. That is a great outfit there. And what's great about this is it constantly surprises you. So now it goes 1989. And what happens is Byrne captures the sensibilities of the era. I love that costume, man. Yeah, baby. So I think Lois Lane was the mother because that's why she has similar hair and similar eyes. So great stuff. I really recommend that. I don't recommend Namor, but I recommend this. So Byrne's one of those guys that he's been so prolific all these years that once, just by sheer numbers, once in a while he'll have a dud, but far less so than many. And that's it. Let me know your thoughts, everybody. Bye.